Just before we go into that, I think we should ask the basis. What exactly is the importance of Nigeria-US relations to us?
There is no way you can disregard or ignore or discountenance. In fact, there is no way you will not interact or you will not have any relationship with a state like US. And this is a superpower that determines a lot of things at the United Nations Security Council, that determines a lot of things globally. This is a major world player economically. This is a major world player politically. And there is no basis, there is no reason why when you have national interest to achieve, when you have national interest, when you have national aspirations, there is no way you will ignore a state like the United States, because some of these interests cannot be achieved if you don't have such a state. In fact, the fact that you are a friend or an ally, close ally or whatever ally, the fact that you are a friend or an ally to the United States is enough moral booster for you, psychologically, because in terms of defense...
Are we an ally like that? In
sure,
that manner?
Sure. We
but
are.
not non-treaty?
No, it's asymmetric. It's asymmetric. It's asymmetric relationship that we have. What that means is that we definitely cannot be at par. But in terms of... Because you see, when you see a major player like the United States, a global major player, a global player like the United States politically, economically, and Nigeria, an aspiring, because I can't say Nigeria is a regional power again, aspiring or maybe a declining regional player. The two of them have to mingle.
We're still declining?
No resurging.
A lot of Nigerians would like to hear that. I mean, that we ever even declined. We're not a regional power. We still consider ourselves a force within this region.
That's an assumption. Because number one, in a situation where the president of US has visited Africa maybe 2 times, 2009, possibly maybe recently, going to, and he has never visited you, then that shows that there is serious problem. If you're a regional player, the first nation, the first state that such a president will visit, not out of sentiment or anything, it will not be Ghana, it will be Nigeria.
But that's the question people are asking, that, he's made this visit. Some people are even saying that the language is almost condescending. That's what some people say, that he's made this visit look extra special. Oh, we're going to be receiving Nigeria. Some people are rumoring the extra care being taken in terms of when delegation arrives in Washington and what have you not. Could it also be, is there a reason why this visit is being made to look that way?
That's what I'm saying, that they are seeing new personnel. They are seeing new personnel, they are seeing new government. The United States, don't forget, will probably at different levels, whether openly or clandestinely, will have information, classified information or documents on the previous government, on the activities of the previous government and party. And definitely before Buhari and his entourage will get there, they probably will have sent a kind of comprehensive package in terms of highlights of what they intend discussing. And they will have read, and they will have seen that this is a serious leadership. And they will have also factored the mood of the nation into consideration, the reception, the happiness, the joy with which the Buhari, with which people received Buhari's election or victory. So these are things which they will have considered to say, okay, it's like this present government carries the people along, or the people are with this government and they want to see how it's going to perform. Let us begin on a tabula rasa with this particular government, with the zeal, with the passion, with the drive, with the aggression of anti-corruption crusader and everything. So let us give them the benefit. So that explains the euphoria. That explains the interest, or that explains the excitement with which they want to receive the government. It's a new government, it's a new party, and it's a new leadership.
Do you think this visit will in any way affect our foreign policy? Because there are a lot of people who think that we don't have a national foreign policy yet. Do you think this visit would affect it?
If we are starting with the United States, I think, and if we are starting with the United States, and we are starting well in terms of being focused, starting well in terms of understanding the essence, the significance, or the basis for this relationship conceptually. If we are starting like that, then I think it will help. Because if you are interacting without a conceptual approach, without a conceptual appreciation or understanding of what you intend doing abroad, what you intend doing with your friends or your allies or your partners, if you don't have a conceptual understanding, a conceptual grasp, a conceptual insight into what you intend achieving, there are some relationships that you will have, you will establish, and you don't even know what you want. You don't even know what values that you are getting from such relationship. Another nation will have this kind of relationship with US, and they will have exhausted. They will have, in fact, have a lot of value. They will have derived a lot of value, either in terms of the way they practice their democracy or the way they develop their own nation, or either in terms of their discipline. You understand? And the way they conduct themselves in public, in public office. So these are things, these are values. What values are we actually after in our relationship with the United States? Is it just at the level of trade? Is it just at the level of political stability? Is it just at the level of economy? No. There are other social issues. There are other social items that we can, use. There must be a value. There must be something of value.
That's why we should do enough.
Achieve.
If we take a look at what they said, security and economy will feature prominently in the discussions of both countries. And I'm just wondering, yes, they're preparing a 30-man delegation. Is it of any importance or significance that, look, well, we may not have the cabinet back here, but he understands the policy thrusts of what he wants to do. So based on that, he could then go on and present whatever request or cooperation he requires from the United States and then back home.
Yeah, I agree, because now, in fact, the significance is basically, let me just narrow it to two. First, the Boko Haram issue, and then the issue of corruption. Concerning Boko Haram, the U.S. has exposure in terms of the way they are dealing with terrorism. They might not have been completely be successful as to eradicating terrorism in most of the states where they have participated, Afghanistan, Iraq, and some other nations. But this is, it will still give them the leverage to say, okay, we have an idea. But whether you are able to deal with the problem of suicide bombers is a different thing entirely, because a new dimension, which I think, personally, if you are talking of high-tech terrorism, yes, you can call US and say, okay, we need your expertise, we need your knowledge. How have you been tackling this kind of thing? So we need. But when you are talking of suicide bombers, it's a difficult thing, and I think it's only Israel that may have that kind of, a kind of remedy or panacea to such things, because this is a nation which has experienced on a grand scale, large scale, which has experienced suicide bombing attacks on a large scale, and they have been able to curtail, or they have successfully dealt with it to a minimal level. US, no, they don't have such experience. But in terms of high-scale terrorism, yes, you can see what they have done in Afghanistan, you can see what they have done in Iraq. But this one, I don't know what we intend to achieve, because I believe that we are now narrowing everything to issue of suicide bombing now, not Boko Haram holding territories, dominating and taking certain aspects, taking some local governments and then putting their flags and everything. I think we have successfully driven them away from such places, and now they have resorted to isolated bombings of individuals, just like they started. They started like that, and later they expanded their constituency. Now it's being narrowed down again to suicide bombing. Is a sign of weakness. But how do we intend to do this? So I don't know how, but I know very well that with the level of intelligence gathering that the U.S. had done in most of the states or nations where they have participated in curbing terrorism, they probably will have one or two things to give us. As Then secondly, when you look at defense, is good for us. It's good for us because when you have it's a client-state, protector-state relation. We have a protector in U.S. If you have a protector in U.S. psychologically, you feel safe. You understand? That even the neighboring nations would have to be very careful about you, about your state, about any act of aggression against you. Those who may want to use this Boko Haram as an opportunity for invasion would have to be very careful, because if U.S. is with you, and they are with you operationally, they are with you militarily, they are with you psychologically and physically, and honestly, then there is going to be a problem for your neighbor. So this is enough to scare them away. Which other aspect did you mention?
The economy.
Yeah, the economy, yes. But it's unfortunate that I doubt if we can, if we have anything to say about that, because whether we like it or not, they are not going to buy our oil.
Whether we like it or not.
Whether we like it or not. I mean, I have oil, and you're asking me to buy your own. At a time, you are boasting that, well, because yours is sulfur-free and everything, they have shale. They are still even looking for more in North Dakota, in Texas. And they have a lot, you know, and they have reservoir. And yes, they will buy. Even if they buy, at what quantum, what quantity now do they want to buy? So for that, I think it's gone. It's gone. We have failed to utilize the advantage or the opportunities that we had in the past. We have started, the first oil that we shipped to US happened in 1965. And that was about 10,000 liters. We got to a level of, in 2007, we got to the level of 40 million. 40 million. Then in 2014, during the Chibok girls something, we got to 4.7. You know, it's a serious decline. And I doubt if we can make any headway from here. Let's forget it and then maybe look for new buyers. Maybe look for where to sell. There is no way they can come back and say, okay, we want to buy in this quantity again. The money you have collected from 1965 till this present moment, what did you do with it? What have you done with it?